We're now going to go through the menu system that comes on your QUALSTAR library. It's a simple menu system that's very simple for everybody to use and operate. In order to start the function of it, you push the menu key and it immediately displays 4 lines. The first line is top menu, and then it gives you configuration, maintenance, and operation. Each one of these has submenus in it, and we will go through some of the most important ones. We won't go through all of them, but the key ones you need to know, especially if you're configuring a library, upgrading the library, or making changes to the library. One of the biggest things we've added here is a feature under Operation, and in order to get into any one of the menus, you go down, put the arrow in front of it here, and you hit the Enter key, and you can put it in demonstration mode. This is the mode that's normally used for when you're in a sales environment and you're at a show and you want to show how the library operates. You can exchange elements or cartridges. You can also park the handler, change the carousel. Any one of these things can be done at this point. The other thing about this is you can also do a park of the handler, which you notice just makes it go low immediately like it's supposed to and parks it down. The other thing you want to know on your menu is you can go into Maintenance and go to Display Revision, and this will tell you the latest revision that's currently being run in this particular library. You'll notice on the third line down it says Revision 2.11. The thing to remember here is the latest version is 2.12, but you'll notice right above it is a part number. The part number has to do and reflects to which executive board is being used. You'll notice the part number on this one is 700105. That means the board inside this library is an Exec 3. If it was 700115, then it would be an Exec 4 board. And the other one that you will see in some cases in the field is 700099. That is the Exec 2 board, and that firmware, if you remember, is only up to version 1.31. The other thing about this particular menu is all maintenance. It displays voltages, it allows you to test the keyboard, and the other thing it does is a test LC display. The reason I'm showing you this is because in a minute you're going to see why we need to know what test LC display is. Configuration does just exactly what it says. It's for configuring the library to make it work in your particular environment. And the first thing you notice is says Advanced. There's submenus under Advanced. You have Drive, and there's submenus under Drive, and we'll go into them in a minute. The biggest thing you need to understand is the very first symbol here where it says SCSI ID. This is the ID of the library. It's ID 0, and that's how the standard default setting is when they leave the manufacturer. Anytime you change anything within the menu and you're not sure what it's supposed to be, or you get lost and everything, we have a built-in safety feature which is called Set to Defaults. That brings everything back from the NVRAM chip on the motherboard back to what the original factory settings were. Then you can go back in and reset it to however you would like to. Under Drive, you'll notice there's a big dot next to it. That means there's submenus underneath it. And if I hit Enter, you will notice we come up with our various tape drives here. Right now, because we disassembled the library and we put it back together, it doesn't know what drives are in here. So here's where we start changing things. Under Drives, you're going to notice here, I'm going to demonstrate with the first level security for the QUALSTAR library. As we're going to go into Drive here, and you notice everything here says None. Each drive is T1 through T4, because this is a 44 unit, so it will hold up to 4 drives. So because it says None, we need to make sure we enter the drives. So you hit Enter, and then the model number, which is the first line, says None. When you hit Enter to change it, the first thing that comes up is door security. Front door must be open. So all you have to do is open the front door, then you'll be able to hit Enter and you'll be able to change it. This is what we call a level 1 security, and there are certain features going through the menu that can only be done if the front door is open. If the front door is closed, it will say open the front door. There's other features that will not let you change unless you have the private menu open, and we'll get into that in a minute. But when you go into enter your model numbers, just scroll, use the up or down arrows. You can scroll to the model that you have installed. When you hit exit, it gives you the model number that's in the library, it tells you it's enabled, and the next line down gives you the serial number. This is very important because when you want to call in for a replacement in the event you need to replace it, you have the serial number available. This is one thing that's needed to get a replacement shipped out rapidly to you is a serial number. And by having it on the front display panel, it beats having to open the back up, crawl down, and try to find the number. The SCSI bus is the changer, and the ID is 1. That's a default ID for the tape drives. They go in successive order. The library starts at 0, and then each of the drives is given a number. When you've got that set, you go out and you do it again for the next one. You keep repeating this until you have all the drives entered. Now, I'm not going to enter drive 3 and drive 4 because we don't have drive 3 and 4 in the library. So we can leave them there. That doesn't matter, but you will notice the ID number here is 1 and 2. Going into operation, we've added a feature that says unload drive. This feature here is needed in case you have a tape stuck in the drive or you wish to change tapes. All you do is you go down and highlight, put the arrow by the unload, hit enter. It comes up and asks what drive do you wish to unload, T1 or T2. Hit enter and it should eject the tape from the drive. AIT takes a while to unload because as it unloads the tape, it goes to the beginning and writes header information, into file information, and into data information for future recovery. Now we've unloaded the tape. As you can see, it's ejected. You can hit exit. You can go up here and do a move cartridge. From location is T1. That's the first drive, so that's okay. We'll scroll down to the next one, hit enter twice, and it comes over and flashes on the T, and if I hit up arrow, it's going to put it in 1A01. Well, I don't want it to go there because we're leaving phase 1 blank for a future project I'm going to show you. But I want it to go into 4. So what I can do is tell it where to go by going through the steps here, and if I hit enter, I can move all the way over till I flash on the 1, change that to a 4. And if I look in the library here, this slot is open, so I'm able to put it into that slot. So I can exit. 4A01 means exactly that. Face 4 on the carousel, tape position, cartridge magazine A, slot 1. And if I go to move, it should move the cartridge. If I close the door. The inventory will occur at any time you make a change to the front panel, which requires the front door being open, or if you violate security. By hitting the move, now we go down, we grab the tape from there, and we put it in the slot we told it to put it into. That was added in there just because it's a nice feature to have when you have the library with tapes down in there and you do not wish to go in and violate the inventory and have to do everything. You do all that with the door closed. Now back under configuration, the next move we're going to start going into some of the advanced features. And this is a key important element for us because now we get into several options to play with here. The one I want to show you, which is one of the key ones, is under changer. You will notice there's also a decimal point in the middle here, which means it has more options underneath it. And the reason I go here is because what happens is there's a couple of things we need to do when we do some changes to the library. But just to let you know some things that are also available here. You'll notice the line filter days. This sets up how many days you want to be able to change the filter. Default's 120 days. That means after 120 days, it's automatically going to display on the front panel, time for periodic maintenance. If you wish to change that because you're in an environment that's much cleaner or an environment that's much dirtier, you can change that number to match what you feel is a safe commitment for you. The next place we're going to go into is into mechanics, which is also under the advanced changer. And you'll notice model number is the first line here. This says it's a 4480. That's because this is fully populated. If we had changed this from a 4440 to a 4480, we would have